So the following is my trip into the Valley of the Mad, or Gleannagalt, which is featured in many folk tales because of its magical well, and we'll get to that. But you'll see me in the video riding a bike. That was courtesy of my lovely host Ellen. She let me borrow her bike, so thank you, Ellen. But the stories, so the many stories that take place or involve the Valley of the Mad, some of which include Mad King Sweeney, and that one's probably the most well-known one, as well as the King of France, Vulcan. When he went insane, he also flew to the valley. But my favorite story is about Mish. And Mish's story begins with the death of her father. So her father, the king of the world, Dun, decided he would invade Ireland because it was the last place he had yet to conquer. And the war did not go in his favor because it was against the legendary hero, giant, warrior, Finn McCool, who was the leader of the fierce Fiona warriors. And so Dun, king of the world, lost, and towards the end of the battle, he was decapitated. Now, Mish, who was a small girl at the time, saw her father's decapitation, and she went mad with grief. And in Ireland, in Irish mythology, when you go mad, this makes you lighter, and allows you to travel at high speeds to faraway places, basically jumping, flying. And so Mish went mad, and she flew to the Valley of the Mad, Gleannagalt, where she stayed and became a wild woman for the next 300 years. And so she was a terror to the region. She, ate sheep and other livestock, and even men that would wander into the valley. And so the King of Munster wanted to get rid of her, and he made a proclamation asking, anyone that was able to bring her back to the court, dead or alive. But all the men that he sent into the valley never came back. And one day, his court harpist, and his name was Dovrush, volunteered to go into the valley. But unlike the other men, he didn't bring any weapons or armor. He only brought himself and his harp. And Dovrush found a place beside the river that runs through the valley, and he started playing his harp. Now Mish saw this man from afar and thought, dinner, because that's what had happened to all the other men that wandered into the valley. But as she got closer and closer, she heard this beautiful music, and she'd never heard such music before. And it reminded her of a life 300 years ago. And so instead of attacking him, she sat beside him and listened to him play. And when she asked him what it was that he was doing with the instrument, he told her, I'm making music. This is a harp. And so then that started the friendship between the two. And Dovrush helped Mish remember what it was to be human by playing her music, by giving her a shower, because she just had not showered. So she was covered in fur and feathers and gore. And so he washed her hair, and she started to take on the appearance of a human again. And he fed her the watercress that grows in the valley. He helped her drink water that came up from the well and ran through the river of the valley. And the two lived that way for some time, and they fell in love. And slowly but surely, Mish was returned to her human state, and the couple moved out of the valley and lived the rest of their days happily in the King of Munster's court. So this is probably my favorite Irish folktale, and the reason for my going to Ireland in the first place. So I went into the valley to look for this well. And what's fascinating is that with modern day science, they've discovered that the water of the well is exceptionally high in lithium content. And lithium has been used as a mood stabilizer throughout the ages. And so these mad people, or often referred to as gwelts, these monsters that are harpy-like humanoid winged flying creatures, they go to the valley seeking the well, and they drink the water, and miraculously they become less monstrous or human again. And what is interesting is that people still go to the well to this day to drink the water. And so I went into the valley and also had a sip myself. Okay, I think this is as good a place as any to stop. Today I am biking to Gleannagalt, Valley of the Mad. And it's a bit cloudy today, on and off showers, but hopefully I will not be drenched. I'm very excited to go see this well. So to get to the Valley of the Mad, I'm doing a loop. I just went through camp and upper camp, and now I am passing by a mountain called Cool. It's just over there. You can't really see it. It's kind of a lower mountain. And then on the other side of Cool will be Gleannagalt. So there's Cool right there, just beyond the power line. It's a long, skinny thing. And that's the way from where I came. The ocean's over there. And that's the way I'm going. And it's just started to drizzle a little bit. It's opened up a bit, and this is the view to my left. That is where I went on my first research hike up Kerry. And I'm about to reach the end of Cool. I'm gonna loop around it. It's getting rainier. So here is the Valley of the Mad, or Gleannagalt. And somewhere down there, hopefully I'll find them, are the well with the lithium water content, and the Mad Stone, a ring fort, and a rag tree. So I'm almost there, and after not using Google Maps the past, I don't know, 4 or 5 months I've been traveling, I've really come to love signs because I get super excited when they tell me that I'm in the right place. I saw a really cool bird. Oh, here it is. A pheasant? Look at him go. So I found the ring fort, but unfortunately there's no way to access it. And I'll show you what it looks like. It looks like a little hill, but the center should be hollowed out, and I think there are a couple trees in there. One of them is a fallen tree called a fairy tree. I really wish I knew how to get to the actual fort. There it is right there. It looks like a little hill covered in trees, but that should be the ring fort. And I can't really remember from my research whether the Mad Stone is supposed to be by the ring fort. I think it's in a field somewhere close to there. Hopefully not. Hopefully it's by the well, but because if the stone is over there, there's no way for me to access it. But I'm gonna go head down to the well now and hopefully find the stone and the well and the rag tree. Well, I took a really bad spill on the bike. I was passing by a gate that looked like it might get me to the ring fort, and I tried to slow down and stop. There's the bike. But I ended up going over the handlebars and ripping my jeans, but I was bleeding a lot, but now not so bad. And I'll take a look at that later. I'm not gonna worry about it right now. Hit my head a little bit, but the helmet protected me. Oh my gosh. But Yeah, I don't know. I'm debating. I haven't decided. And what was that room called again? One more time? A souterrain. A souterrain. Okay. So, good news and bad news. The bad news was that the ring fort and the stone are on someone's property and therefore inaccessible. But the good news is this sign that I passed maybe about 30 minutes ago. This sheep farm belongs to Bridget O'Connor, who is a woman I came across during my research in Library of Kerry. She did a podcast with the late Jack Doyle about the well. And so I knocked on her door and she invited me inside, and she told me a little bit about the area, told me about the lithium content, how high it was compared to just, up the valley a bit. She believes that the lithium must come from something in the rocks in this, specifically concentrated in this area. But she showed me pictures of her father with the Madstone, and she told me stories of her childhood when they all had horses, and there were these travelers, sometimes beggars, who would come through the area, locals, and her family would host them because of the tradition of hospitality in this area. There not being any television at the time or any sort of super modern technology, hosting would kind of serve as a form of entertainment. You would host strangers and they would tell you about themselves and stories of their travels. And so she gave me a really unique peek into her childhood and the surrounding area, which was pretty awesome. So I'm at the well, and wow, this would be very difficult to find if I were in a car, but luckily I am bike hiking. And so I'm gonna set my bike down and go explore the area. Wow, there it is. So now that I'm at the well, I think I'm going to actually use it as a place of healing and wash my bloody hands and knees in it, and see if that helps the healing process. I'm also going to take a little sip. But as you'll see, there are a bunch of things hanging in this tree that's extended over the well, and this is called a rag tree. People will typically leave pieces of cloth or talismans here, and when the pieces of cloth brought away, their wish, whether it be a wish of healing or for something else, is supposed to come true. Other people will just leave things here just as a way to remember the journey, and also to leave a part of you behind indicates some sort of magical transaction. So I have brought a lucky 5 yen. In Japan, these are considered good luck, and so I'm gonna do some cultural exchange here and attach this to the tree. There it is. I'm just coming from the well now, and I think this is the same water that is running from the well into this stream. So this is my last video entry of the day, but that is where I'm coming from, the Valley of the Mad, and thank you so much for watching.